Hello everyone, it's your buddy Sven here, once again coming at you with another Saturday video, and this is the game Awesomenauts. However, as opposed to playing it, I'm almost making a stance against this game, which I should have done 2 or 3 years ago. Now, Awesomenauts was a game, it was a MOBA, or it is a MOBA because it's still played. However, I have a few problems with this game, and maybe I'm maybe I'm exaggerating, maybe I'm just whining and bitching, but this is a game that, in my mind, committed kind of the ultimate sin in a MOBA like this, or even a game that's, such an online-focused community interaction game, which was, it quickly became pay-to-win. My friends and I back in high school, we used to play this game a whole lot. We had a group together, we would play. We were all pretty high on the ladder, too. Like, you see this 8 here? If I can get my mouse over there. I was 8, if I'm not mistaken. But that used to be a 2. Like, that used to be really high. My friends and I were really high up. My friend actually hit 1. Like, that guy was in the top. We were all pretty top tier for this game. But then there was a DLC that came out called Starstorm. Now, I don't have a problem with paid content in games and microtransactions in games. That's all stuff that is elective, and people are able to do that by their own discretion. But usually microtransactions are things like skins. Take, for example, this character here, Raylan. She has a bionic skin, which is really cool. So if you want to go ahead and drop the, I don't know what it is at this point, like $2.49. Skins used to be $1 back then, but I guess they had a markup or something like that. So if you wanted to drop that money and go ahead and get that skin, that was your complete right. But the issue was they released I think at the time it was a $20 DLC, which has been cut in half since, called Starstorm. Now, Starstorm, what it did was added characters, added some stuff, and it was cool because it was like, oh yeah, you can kind of tell who got the DLC for this game. Now, the problem was Starstorm didn't just have, you didn't get matched up with other people who had Starstorm, you got matched up against the normal people. And the Starstorm characters, at least upon release, were almost hilariously broken. I remember Ted McPayne, who was like the first Starstorm character. He came out, he could out-tank Clunk, who was the, very, very large tank of the game. He's a giant robot he's all about health. And Ted McPayne basically got to laugh at him. And then he also did far more burst damage than a lot of characters, basically barring stepping onto a mine nest from Yuri, who his entire gimmick was dropping mines. And then this character named Coco, who was literally all about burst. Basically barring those two, he could out-tank the tankiest character in the game. And then he could also out-damage most characters in the game. And most of his moves were borderline undodgeable. It was pretty stupid. I remember trying to play it, and again, I wasn't a bad player in this game. And at least I don't think so. My issue with it came from the fact that you could basically pay to climb your way up the ladder now. And the people who got there through genuine skill, now you can argue it's like, oh, well, if you were actually good at the game, you could deal with Ted. With the balance the way it was, you can honestly pick up the game, pick up Starstorm, and you could probably climb up to level 3 with Ted without really knowing what you're doing. It was pretty stupid. And since then, Starstorm's had more characters, and I remember my level 1 friend, he kept hopping back on occasionally just to try it out. And he played this character, Vinny and Spike, who's this guy who rides pufferfish, and he has the usual 1940s San Francisco mobster accent, like, yeah, see? Like that whole stereotypical deal. I remember he really played that I almost said champion because I'm a League player by default, that Awesomenaut a lot. So he really knew the ins and outs of that, knot. He openly said that Ted, honestly, he could go against people who were levels under him, as far as actual ability, and Ted would probably beat him. It was so tooled into the character to give you such an advantage. Anywho, that's probably enough whining, but my issue with certain games is that they'll give you the pay-to-win incentive, rather than the actually letting you get better at the game. Anywho, if you like this video, please leave a like. It helps me out so very much. I usually on these kinds of days will not ramble. I'll actually play something kind of one-off called Saturday Shenanigans. If you want to see more of that, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It'll help me out so very much. Anywho, this has been Sven. I'll see you on the next video. Take care.